Can't we all just get along? The theme of the day is beef, and apparently Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs now have a strained relationship. League sources told ESPN issues regarding the injury treatment and the timetable for recovery had a chilling impact on Kawhi and the organization. Jalen, what's going on here?
I hate to say this into a microphone, but I'm on a television show that people actually watch, so I want to say this. I hate to say this. Kawhi Leonard wants out of San Antonio, is what I'm hearing. And the reason why is tenfold. One is they've been unable to attract elite-level, all-NBA caliber free agents to come play with him. Think about this. The reason why, in my opinion, and I love the Spurs way, you hear me chanting, "Go Spurs, go" for years. It's still ringing in my ear as they were winning championships, and I considered them a super team over the last couple of decades. We always talk about players going to join large market teams. Who's going to L.A.? Who's going to New York? What's going on in Philly? We never say, who's going to San Antonio to play with Kawhi? And here's why I think players have not done that. The Spurs way looks like opportunity dressed in overalls. It looks like work. And people really don't want that. Players talk about wanting to win and wanting to be a champion, but ultimately, they want to do it on their own terms. And when you go to San Antonio, guess who's the CEO of that organization? Greg Popovich. It's going to be his way. So for Kawhi, and also the way his injury situation was handled. You see him in the lineup. You see him out of the lineup. Is it his quad? What's going on with his history? Was he misdiagnosed? Will we look back at this situation with his injury, kind of like we're doing with the Boston Celtics? Remember, the Celtics fired their entire staff as it related to how Isaiah Thomas' injury was being handled because his hip was misdiagnosed. Maybe the same thing will happen in the future with San Antonio. That remains to be seen. But when you talk about the next super team, probably is going to be wherever Kawhi Leonard ends up. And by the way, lastly, he looked really comfortable in that Nipsey Hussle commercial, didn't he? He from Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard sitting back chilling, not saying a word. Braids looked like he got him done 2 weeks ago.
Let's stay on point with this. Kawhi Leonard, I'm hearing the same thing. We heard this last year, that he was, leaning towards that when his contract situation was coming up and he was wondering how much money he was going to make. He made it very, very clear that he wasn't willing to give but so much of a discount. He made that very, very clear. San Antonio Spurs have been spoiled by Tim Duncan because Tim Duncan was the ultimate soldier. Greg Popovich could lean on them. Rossi Buford could lean on them. They're a first-class organization. Why do we know this? Because Tim Duncan, the face of the organization, never had anything but first-class, stuff to say about them. And we have no reason to believe otherwise because they're five-time champions. But Kawhi Leonard, his uncle, Dennis Robertson, is running the show right now. And his uncle, this is the Kawhi Leonard got rid of his agent. This isn't typical stuff that the Spurs have had to deal with. If you read youngster Jabari Young, writer for the San Antonio Express News, I've known him since his days in college. The great Mike Monroe, who's been an NBA reporter for many, many years, and he's got emeritus status for crying out loud because of his great years of covering the NBA. You listen to folks like that and others and watch the things that they write and the things that they've said. This is not a surprise. It's something that has been leaned towards, teased, mentioned in passing time and time again. It's hitting a boiling point now because here's the reality. In the case of Tim Duncan, that's family, the San Antonio Spurs. To Kawhi Leonard, Uncle Robertson, that's family.
And that's
not the San Antonio Spurs. And that's what the Spurs are not accustomed to dealing with, and it's a problem for them.
And that's the problem. That's what I wanted to focus on.